Sometimes, love isn't defeated by betrayal or distance. It's destroyed silently when ego takes the front seat and emotion is left unheard, unloved, and unseen. Welcome to Broken Truth, where love meets lies, and every story reveals the pain behind the smile. One of the deepest reasons people betray in love is ego overpowering emotion. When a person feels the need to be right more than to be kind, to win more than to understand, they stop nurturing the emotional bond that love requires. Ego creates distance. It refuses to apologize, refuses to forgive, and eventually chooses silence or pride over connection. Betrayal doesn't always come from lust or lies. Sometimes it comes from the stubborn refusal to be vulnerable. In such cases, betrayal is emotional, slow, suffocating, an invisible dot they met in spring, not the season, but the feeling, like something blooming after long winters of waiting. He listened. She spoke. She felt heard for the first time. Their silences used to feel safe. Now they feel sharp. He used to write her letters in his voice. Now he edits her feelings with his pride. It started with small things. A disagreement on timing. A forgotten promise. A raised tone. She forgave. Not because it didn't hurt, but because she thought love was meant to hold space for mistakes. But he never said sorry. Not once. Not for the moments he mocked her softness. Not for the times he shut her down mid-sentence. Not for making her feel dramatic, for simply needing him. Ego dressed as confidence. Silence dressed as self-control. Distance dressed as maturity. But she knew. She always knew. When love stops feeling safe, it's no longer love. She tried. She tried again. She tried until trying became the only thing she did in the relationship. He said she was too sensitive. She said nothing because it hurt too much to explain. And then someone else asked her how her day was and meant it. Someone else looked her in the eyes when she spoke and didn't interrupt. Someone else smiled at her pain, not to dismiss it, but to sit beside it. It wasn't cheating. It was noticing what she'd forgotten she deserved. She left without a final argument, no shouting, no storm, just silence. The kind that says, I begged you to see me, you chose your pride. And just like that, love didn't explode. It evaporated. Because ego is a slow poison. And she finally chose. Breath over battle. She sat alone that evening, not to cry, but to finally breathe without fear of being too much. The apartment felt different. Not empty, just honest. Quiet, like it was listening for the first time. She replayed every fight in her head. Not to blame him, but to understand why she kept shrinking herself to keep the peace. She thought of all the times she let silence win, thinking love meant patience. Thinking one day he'd meet her halfway. But love doesn't live in waiting rooms. Love shows up, love listens, love tries. And now so would she. For herself, healing didn't start with some dramatic transformation. It started with little things. Drinking her coffee slowly, wearing what she liked, talking to friends again, and journaling without editing her thoughts. She stopped romanticizing people who couldn't say sorry. She learned to watch how people argued, not just how they loved. Ego-based love always felt like a test. Healthy love, it feels like rest. She didn't build walls, just doors with locks and a sign that said, only honesty enters here. Now, when someone calls her sensitive, she smiles. Because she is. And that's not a weakness. She love. Again. But not with people who confuse silence with strength. Because she finally knows real love doesn't shrink you. It expands you. And she's ready to grow. Ego kills what love builds. And sometimes walking away is the loudest way to reclaim your worth. If you've ever felt unseen in love, you're not alone. Subscribe to Broken Truth, where we uncover what love hides.